Okay, and welcome back to another episode of the Saucy Boys.
Yes,
I go by the name of Chaku,
Michael Stokes, baby.
and we are back. New week, new drink.
New Drizzy. No. New Bevy. Yeah. So a little bit of a mishap. Sorry. Thought this last episode would fall at the beginning of April. Now I'm actually bullshitting. I looked up this beverage thinking, and Google told me that it was female owned. And then after I bought the beverage and sat down and looked it up even further to do my research, it ended up not being female owned. So sorry about that. We did our best. We represented all month long, but to end this month, and fuck it, this episode probably won't be out till the beginning of April anyways. We are going to be drinking Blackland Texas Pecan Brown Sugar Bourbon.
Hey.
Now, we have tried one of brown sugar bourbon before. That was Jamie Foxx's version. This one is made and distilled up in Fort Worth, so it is Texas owned. Let me see what else we got. It says this is a small batch bourbon. It's perfectly balanced with gentle but identifiable pecan taste on the front palate, a mouth of just sweet enough sugar bourbon as dominant is characteristic, and a smooth finish that leaves you wanting more of this, wanting one more sip. Sorry, I can't read no more. We love it on ice or mixed in any bourbon cocktail that speaks to you. To us, well, for us tonight, because I was extremely lazy, we are only going to be sipping it on ice, so we'll be able to give you a really detailed review of what we think about it. So
It's been one of those days where I feel super laxed and slow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about being burnt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just, I don't know. It's just you said you feel like you're stuck in a loop. Side note, I watched Looper the other day for the first time in a while. Great movie. Still love that movie. But yeah, you feel like you're stuck in a loop, and you want to spice things up. Add some type of element into it that can change it up, can make you feel more creative.
Just a break away from the monotonous day-to-day activities. It's you wake up, you go to work, get off work, go to sleep type shit. I mean, feel there's a lot of things in between them, but
tell me this. Does it feel like your days are going by faster, or is it just me?
Nah, they really do feel like they're going by quick.
Quick
as shit. Some moments drag, but this month went by so fucking fast.
Yes. That's what I was thinking the other day. I was like, holy fuck. It's in 1 week is going to be 1 month that it's going to be about 1 month since I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that feels like just yesterday I was there.
It's funny because I was talking to somebody last week when I was playing at Blue Box.
Get a little ASMR.
We'll get that. Ooh. No, I was talking to somebody last week about there was a guy at Blue Box that I was talking to, and he was saying that he's from Chicago. He was just in San Antonio for the weekend.
That's a lot.
And I was like, yeah, I have a friend. He was just in Chicago. But I was saying it he was just there last week, but it was already
wrong.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so, man, I don't know. Just, the time's been going by really quick. And then that too, summer's coming up. And it's just getting in the swing of all the things, summer, whether you going to take trips this summer and do all that shit, or
are you taking trips this summer or no?
Man, I want to. I think I might do one, but I think most of the trips that I'm gonna take are just gonna be mostly work based.
Yeah.
So it's not really a vacation. It'll be cool, but it's not really a break.
I think we might bypass going on the summer because the plan is in motion for me to spend Thanksgiving in Philly with my family, which I've been trying to do for years now, as you know. I've been trying to do it for a while. I was going to go in 2020, but I remember talking to my aunt up there in the winter of winter 2019, telling her yeah, I'm gonna come for spring break.
I'm gonna be up there.
Yeah, next year I'll be there for spring break, and then I'm gonna come back for Thanksgiving. And nope.
Yep.
And so it just hasn't happened since. So now we're finally in a world where COVID still exists, but we just don't care about it no more, I guess.
It's crazy. So it's been about a solid month, maybe almost 2 months since COVID's really been mentioned.
Hey man, when war is the top of the news cycle.
For real.
No one gives a fuck about it. But pandemic.
Yeah, nobody's talking about like how much infection rates have been and like this and this. Oh my god.
Oh, that's good.
But I seen today like there's a new subvariant of Omicron. So like I'm thinking it's like, okay, like it's about to jump into summer, like is it gonna be like the same shit as when like Omicron first popped back in the scene, like they started like doing all this stupid shit?
As long as there's a war over in Ukraine, COVID's always gonna be like number 2 or 3 on the news cycle now. It's gonna be and finally, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just the way it's gonna roll. And I'm not super political, but you guys got to be able to see the formula from here now. Like whatever, it's got to be a hot topic. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of hot topics, there's shit that we're not even gonna talk about on this pod because y'all have already ran it into the dirt.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's only been 48 fucking hours.
Yep. So drove Oscar events into the ground.
Yes,
that's all we're gonna say about it.
We have no interest in speaking on that shit.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say, did you try it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. Fuck, where was my mind going before we went off on the
like
low
that
rant?
being the trend. It's like whatever, like this war in Ukraine and all this shit that's going on. It's like COVID took the back seat.
Yeah.
But then once that dies down and hopefully things get back to normal, then I feel like COVID's gonna be like, oh my god, like COVID, like it's on the rise.
It'd be some funny shit if it was like peace. Russia and Ukraine have called a peace, and then like a couple weeks go by and it's like a new variant.
Yeah. But then that too
apparently
is just
hitting
like,
just in time for summer.
and then there's been like a bunch of events and shit like before, like South by Southwest, but nobody's talking about COVID
super spreaders.
Yeah,
anything.
like nobody's talking about COVID numbers.
Nah, because it doesn't matter anymore. It's not beneficial. You know,
so
it's not lucrative. So
yeah,
that's why. But that's life. I was gonna shout you out because I saw the other day you posted some of your getting a little Gordon Ramsay in your kitchen, my guy. What's going on there? Shit, we're doing the pod. Yo, this is the first time we've done the pod, and I came over with the food, and he didn't order shit. Like I was just like, what? Like my guy didn't do no Uber Eats.
Cause I already ate, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had that shit ready.
Oh, I'm super jealous, man.
Like leftovers? What? Yeah. So I'm trying to dabble, and I'm starting to like cook more, and I'm making it a point to go and get ingredients and. Shout out to you for showing me the app. Because if you didn't show me the app, then I probably would have been like, man, I'll fucking just make spaghetti again.
Yo, dog, that was mine too. When I first, like the first 2 times I moved out and I was living on my own.
It's just spaghetti.
I thought I could cook really, and all I could do was make spaghetti.
Yeah, but you don't know what else to make.
Yeah, I'd make spaghetti, and then like I'd oven roast some chicken.
Yeah,
and think I was doing it.
It's really simple shit, and it's like I know how to cook, but for some dumbass reason, it's just like everything that I learned up until like before I moved out, I just completely forgot.
Yeah.
So like I'll go grocery shopping. I'm like, well, what the fuck do I need?
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to get? Like,
yes.
Yeah. Like, it's like, okay, basics like milk, bread, eggs, sugar, flour, like shit like that.
But you can't get that every time you go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, all right, well, what the fuck do I make with all this shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Spaghetti.
Yeah. Spaghetti. Fuck it. We'll do
spaghetti. Yeah, and it's just like every night for dinner was fucking spaghetti. So
my thing is like, it's learning how to like marry things and make flavors.
Yeah.
That you're not expecting. Like, I showed you what I made last week. I made a chicken piccata, and that takes heavy whipping cream, white wine, a little bit of lemon juice, and capers. Ooh. And I was like, like I'm thinking like my girl's like, oh, go easy on the capers because they're really salty. And I was just like, all right, whatever. I didn't even think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think about it, but the capers give the saltiness flavor onto it. Yeah. But then you get the lemon in that bitch, and like after it fucking like simmers for a minute, it just comes together and makes like this perfect
blend.
Yeah, like this perfect blend that just like it's like the perfect amount of lemon on the noodles and on the chicken.
And see, I was
fucking fire.
I was thinking that too because like some of these ingredients that these recipes call for, I was like, why the fuck would I put that in there?
Yeah.
And then like once you finish it, like, oh, that's why.
That's why. I've done a Korean beef before, and and I didn't know that the marinade for that calls for pear.
Oh shit.
And then I made it, and I was like, why a pear? Ew.
Yeah.
But I hit the Asian market anyway, so I just slid through the Asian market. I got an Asian pear, and then like I diced it up, put it in the blender with the brown sugar, some soy sauce, all this other shit.
Yeah, see, it's crazy. And
perfect marinade.
Like in my head, I'm like, yo, this is gonna take so much time.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna have time to like do, like shit between gigs and like whatever. And then like I started like laying everything out. Like my thing, what I do is like I prep everything, and then I'll start doing this that way. All I gotta do is like toss it in the pan or whatever, and then like. So in reality, it only takes like maybe like an hour or so.
Yo, mise en place. I was gonna ask you that because I remember our old co-host on the pod would always mention about how organized you are when it comes to movie editing and shit like that with all your files and everything, and that's like what basically saves you time. So I was gonna ask, like, do you take that same type of approach so when you're cooking? And it sounds like you do.
Yeah, I do. And now that I think about it, it's like I apply that shit to like everything that I do. Mm-hmm. Like I'm very organized in a sense when it comes to shit like that. But yeah, like I set everything up. Like I'll get like whatever vegetables and shit that needs to be chopped and like whatever. And instead of like just like chopping it and like putting it in the pan, like I'll organize it into like little bowls. Yeah. And then like all the spices, like I'll measure everything out first. And I'll put it into like its own little container, and then like I'll add it as I go. And yeah, it's the same thing with like editing. It's like I get all my shit organized before I start working on the edit, or same thing with music or anything. So
yeah. So with the spices, I pull all the spices out that I need. Mm-hmm. But if it's like a dish I have not made before, which typically is the case, I'll do all like the pre-cutting and shit. Like it's like if it's meat, I'll cut up the meat. I'll cut up all the veggies I gotta add and shit. So that way it's just like toss in. And then like when it comes to the spices, I'll just like, all right. Yeah. And just keep it pushing and shit. I normally don't break out like the teaspoons and all that.
See, I do all that. Yeah. And I measure everything out perfectly, but I feel like I'm getting to the point where I can just eyeball the shit. Yeah. And so that's why I see like whenever I see like people like chefs who've been doing it for a while, they're just like yeah, just like throwing shit. And like I get it, because after a while, it's the same thing with like DJ and everything else that you do. It's just like it takes time to get used to doing this shit, and then you get to a point where you can just eyeball it and guesstimate, and it may work out better. So that way, like the recipe calls for like this much of something, and maybe you do a little bit less and add more of something else. It gives it a different taste, or like a different, yeah. So I kind of look for shit like that too, and instead of like using certain ingredients, I'm like, well, what if I try like this seasoning versus like this seasoning?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, in my place, my girl has this mushroom umami seasoning, and a lot of the recipes don't call for it, but I'll put that shit in there because like umami is like such a great flavoring. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't even know what umami really tastes like, but it's like, but it does something. Yes, I know it does something. Yeah. So like I always make room. Oh, I got room for some umami? Cool.
I feel like if I continue this trend and I just continue to like make things and like start developing my own style in the kitchen, like I might fuck around and open up a food truck.
I'm telling you, the Saucy Boys isn't just going to be a podcast no more. Yeah. It's going to be relating to liquor and actual sauces.
Chefing it up.
We're going to be chefing. I'm telling you, man.
But then that too, like some of the recipes is like they call it, like you have to make like the sauces and shit. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's how you make that? What? Like I did not know. Like I didn't know you added this this and it makes this fucking sauce. Yes. And I'm like glazing my fucking chicken with it. Like, yo, this is dope.
I'm a big fan of, like, I don't know. It's funny because like growing up, I don't know why, like, I guess it's because we're boys, we're guys. Like, you're kind of like, oh man, I don't want to spend much time in the kitchen and all that shit. But it's like the older I've gotten, and like when I start like nailing these fucking like dishes that you would get at like a high quality restaurant and shit, I'm actually enjoying it now. Yeah. Where like I make sure I cut out enough time in my day where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna stop working at this time so I can start prepping and get the shit going and shit. And then once I like, man, I was hyped as shit when that piccata came together. Cause I serve my girl's my guinea pig, and my big thing is like I want to nail the chicken, and I did, and I was like fuck yeah, and like I gave it to her, and she like ate it, and like her things are like how I know she doesn't like something is if she starts like I start hearing the fork hitting the plate a lot,
Yeah.
Cause that means she's like picking something out that she doesn't like,
Yeah.
and like I didn't hear her talk, I didn't hear that, and I look over and she finished her fucking plate before me.
Hey.
And I was like, what? And then she gets up and gets another one, which never fucking happens. She never gets seconds.
Hey.
And I was like, God damn, I really killed this shit.
Put my foot in that
Like,
motherfucker.
yeah, that's how I felt. Like, I was like, fuck yeah.
That
What's
nigga's all
good?
standing there with his chef jacket on, his hands behind his back, just
Yeah.
like, so?
He's like, how is it?
How
She's
was
like, babe, this is really good. I was like, what? I was like, shut up. You just hyping me. And she's like, no, this is fucking good. And I was like, all right. Your boy's for real.
And see, like I notice certain things whenever I'm cooking. I'm like, I did too much of this or I did too much of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so like in my head, I'm like, the fucking recipe's ruined. And then so I did that shit last night with whatever I made. And my chick is like, what are you talking about? Like, it's fine. I was like, no, it's ruined.
It's not the same.
It's ruined. It doesn't look like the picture.
That's me. I do the same thing.
I have to throw it away. I have to start over.
Like, why doesn't it look like the picture though?
Yeah.
Fuck.
But shit, I mean, it tasted good, so I was with it. I'm like, so, and in my head, I'm like, next time I'm gonna do this versus, doing that.
So now I've started getting, I don't know when it started, but I've started getting like people, how people post like their TikToks of them cooking and shit and like recipes.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of those have started popping up on my Instagram. And like now I start saving some of them.
Algorithm, babe.
And like I fucked around and I made, because there was one where he was like, so I used to watch this show called Atlanta, and they had these things called lemon pepper wet, and I was just like, nigga, used to? Like the show, like you act like the show came out like 15 years ago, nigga, shut up. But I did the lemon pepper wet recipe, and there was another banger where my girl was just like, yo, these are fucking good. And I was like, yeah.
It's funny because my chick, she like, I was cooking. She's like, I want to help. I'm like, no.
That's me. Like, get the fuck out.
Like, I got this. Like, I'm good. And she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, just wait till
Relax.
it's done.
Kick your feet up.
Yeah,
Chill.
like, hang out.
Have a drink.
So,
That's my girl. She's always like, can I help? Can I help? I'm like, no, leave me alone.
You're going to mess up my rhythm.
Like, yeah,
right?
you're going to fuck it up.
Like, just let me cook. Otherwise, we're both going to be eating this nasty ass shit. Oh, man.
But yeah, definitely sell low, and then the results will always be better.
Yep.
So that's how it is. I'm always just like, I'm like you. I always pick something out like, yeah, I think I burned something on it, or I'm like, I think I underseasoned this, and then like,
So, like, the first couple of things I made, I know the first time I was like, okay, I cooked the chicken a little too much. It was still good, but
Yeah.
you could tell. And then instead of hamburger for that last one I used a turkey.
yeah,
And so it came out a little bit more like, not like watery.
uh,
I don't know. The consistency was.
Yeah, I know exactly what you
mean.
mean.
It was a little bit thinner.
yeah,
Because I don't really use ground turkey as much. And so, like, seeing that, I was just like, okay. Because, like, it's real, like,
it's
the texture's
yeah,
different.
I feel like it's got like a more chewier texture.
Yeah.
What I do when it comes to ground beef now, and I'm really feeling myself, I like splurge on like the Wagyu.
You get the fancy shit.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck it, we doing Wagyu, girl.
Oh, man.
Get it popping.
Yeah, shit. But that's funny. So, have you seen the new season of Atlanta?
Yes.
All right. So, whenever, like, the first episode.
Yeah, which was
with the
crazy as
kid-
fuck, but I loved it.
Yeah, the kid, he's like, what'd he say? Whenever
About
he
the
got
food?
home, yeah, the food.
Yeah, he's like,
he's like, there's spaghetti in the fridge.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, it's funny because, like, growing up, it's like these things that they're, like, depicting in these shows is accurate as fuck.
Yeah.
It's a little exaggerated, but it's accurate as fuck. It's like every time you got home and you was hungry, it's like spaghetti in the fridge.
So like the funny thing was, because you had mentioned like you were like right before the show aired, season 3 debuted, you were like, yeah, I'm going back and I'm rewatching it. One, I forgot that the show was only 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I could have sworn it was an hour episode. So like I had started watching it, and by chance my girl just like sits down and she gets invested with it too.
Yeah.
And so like she sits with me for all through season 1, and like she's like, she likes it. She's like, yeah, it's really funny. And I like, she was like, but why do you like it? And I was just like, I mean, it's really funny, one, but it's like in all of these, I know all of these characters.
Yeah.
And I'm a little piece of every one of these characters.
Yep.
Like I'm a little piece of Darius, I'm a little piece of Paperboy, and I'm a little piece of Ern. Like I know all of these motherfuckers. I know I do.
Yeah.
And she was like, that makes so much sense. And I was just like, yeah. And it's like a lot of the shit they depict, it's not just, I know the show's called Atlanta, but it's like you can go through them as just like a black boy in America.
Yeah.
And it's like I've experienced so much shit in the show
that you can fucking relate to.
Yeah. So it hits really close to home.
But it's crazy how like some of the things that they put out there, like the barber episode, it was a little over the top, but that's exactly what it feels like.
So I was telling her that because that was one of the episodes where we had the conversation, and she was just like, "This." She has like anxiety problems, and it's like the fact that the Bevy the barber was doing everything but cutting his hair.
Nigga's hair.
It was fucking with her anxiety, and she was like, "I hate this episode." And I was just like, "That's the point of it."
Yeah.
And then like after it ended, we started talking, and I was like, "But it's true, like." I've had a barber who like talked the whole time and didn't cut my hair good and shit. And she was like, "Well, that's true with some salons. Like you can go to a hair place and they'll fucking talk, leave you under the fucking dryer and shit. And it's just like, shit like that would happen." And I was like, that's why you can relate to it, because it's like it's the barber from hell.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So, but with that too, it's just like this new season, like this first. There's always some episode in each season that is just like off the wall. It's like a little weird.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. And it's like super relatable. It's like growing up, it's like you see things like that. And so like this first episode, that shit with the fucking the teachers. It's like them teachers, like they call your parents up there and your parents are like, yo, like, so how they were trying to put him like remedial classes or whatever. Yeah. It's like, no, he's not stupid. It's just, shit like that.
So once again, that hit close to home because they tried to do the same thing with me.
Yeah, trying to say like it's they
tried to tell my parents that I couldn't read because I didn't like to talk in school.
Shit like that. So they try to put you in these like things, and it's like, no, I'm not. It's just like, I don't know.
Like they were like, he doesn't talk like the other. He doesn't talk as much, and it's because the first day I was in school, the teacher said, "Do not talk unless you raise your hand," and I just took it to heart.
Like,
that's why. But they were like, he can't talk and blah blah blah, and we think his development is slow. Meanwhile, I'm asking my mom to buy me every fucking Goosebump book there is, and I'm reading it cover to cover. And like she's like trying to convey that to them, like, no, he reads, he does all this shit, he has friends outside of school, like what the fuck. So once again, another thing that hit close to home, and I was like, oh, I get it, you know what I'm saying?
But that line that she said in there, she's like, you keep doing shit like this, she's like, these white people out here gonna try to fucking kill you. And then but like the rest of the episode, if y'all haven't seen Atlanta, go watch Atlanta. If you're a black person.
Definitely glad they started off with a 2-episode debut this season, because episode 1 was dope, but if I would have gotten that and had to wait another week to see what's going on with them in current, I would have been pissed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it was dope that they did them back to back. Season 3 so far is fucking dope. And also, man, if you haven't started Atlanta at all, just like catch up. It's on Hulu right now, and it's like we said, it's 30-minute episodes. It's pretty easy to digest, man.
My friend Amanda, she comes by the bar sometimes. And I was telling her, I was like, yo, like season 3's out. I was like, you got to catch up. And so she texted me earlier, and she's like, oh my God, that Teddy Perkins episode. Yeah. And I was just like, yo, he was like, you fucking late. I was like, you need to catch up.
Teddy Perkins.
That episode, I feel like once that episode hit, the show kind of took like that dark like theme, like for like the rest of the shit. I want to see another episode similar to like the club episode. Yeah. Especially like now that he's like more famous. I wonder if they do like a Marcus Miles type thing.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to tell, because I was describing the show to my girl, because I thought, so like the episodes they hit on Hulu the same night, but it's like at 2 a.m. So like I was trying to finish up and catch up all the way with her, and then I thought I'd be able to watch the 2 premiere season 3 episodes before I realized they didn't drop till 2. So I like did a part where I was like telling her like what's gonna happen in season 2 to like set up what's gonna start with season 3, and she was just like, so. Because, like the first like 3 or 4 episodes, it's like the consistent story of like Earn, Darius, and Paperboy. And then it takes that left turn, and you get the story building episodes of like one for Earn, where it's Earn by himself, one with Paperboy where it's him by himself. Teddy Perkins episode is Darius is by himself. Then there's that flashback episode.
The FUBU one.
Yeah, and then you get one with Van where she's by herself.
Yeah.
And all that. And then it all culminates at the end with like, okay, now we're back to the mainline story. And I was like trying to describe that to her, and she, lo and behold, I was shocked at how invested she still was. She was like, really? Like they do all that? And I was like, yeah, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme, but it's still cool to know that like they do all this character building in those episodes. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's another thing that's really dope about it too, because it's not just like them three like every episode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, even in the second season, man. So like I said, if you haven't watched Atlanta yet, you're truly missing out. It's an amazing show. I mean, everywhere from like the writing and cinematography, like everything's dope.
Also, far superior show than Dave.
Oh yes,
it's so much better than Dave. Like we y'all got to stop with the Dave is just white Atlanta. No, it's not. It's so much. Dave is so different, and I mean it's good if you like it or whatnot. But
I think that first season Dave was kind of comparable.
Yeah,
but still, like it wasn't anything close to like what Atlanta is.
It's nowhere near as close as Atlanta. Atlanta is just so much. It's so fucking good, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
But yeah. So. You know, the whole spaghetti thing, like, it's like you move out and it's just like spaghetti. All the fucking time. At the end of the episode, he's like, "Ma, is there some of that spaghetti in the fridge?"
Just in love with it and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, man. But shit, moving forward, I wanted to get into a little something. And I wanted to talk about nightlife, and specifically here in the city, right?
Yeah.
Because do you feel like clubs are still a thing?
I don't. And it's weird.
So do you think that's just like here in the city, or do you think that's just like everywhere? Me personally, my bad, I didn't mean to jump ahead of you, but me personally, I kind of feel like most spots nowadays, everything is just like bars and lounges or like dive bars.
Like, of course, there's going to be places that you can go, like L.A., New York, Atlanta, Miami. Mm-hmm. They got clubs, but they're also tourist destinations that are very transient.
Yeah.
So it's like there's people coming in from out of town who want to go to these places and see that shit. With that being said, like I definitely feel that in our city, San Antonio, like the idea of like the club is dead here, in my opinion. Like, and I feel like they all peaked at a certain time in like the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And then like they either evolved into what they like an elevated dive bar or something like that, because we're just not like it's not the community of people who go and just crowd the dance floor anymore, especially now with people always on their fucking cell phone.
Yeah.
Like it's more of a community of people who they want to be in the same area with people. They want to be together. They want to hear good music, but they're probably just going to post up on the wall.
Take snaps.
Yeah. Take snaps, take pictures, all be at the table. If you serve food, cool too. Cause I mean, you think of all like the most popping spots, like they're not really like clubs,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's a bar.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's another thing that's crazy to me, is because like being a DJ here in San Antonio, it's like I try to stay away from the club type shit, because for me personally, I just feel like it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid for me to want to go all out and play, you know, all this like house, EDM, trap, like these heavy, like big room, you know, songs in these venues that don't have the sound efficient, you know, enough for like that kind of music. It don't feel the same, versus like you go to a club anywhere else and it's like an actual club.
Yeah.
And it's like they have sound systems and shit built for that.
They've invested $500,000 in the sound system.
And so it's like you pull up to these spots, and I mean in other cities, but see, I haven't been to a club in another city besides Vegas.
My bad. Vegas too. Vegas, club city, definitely.
Yeah. So but you know, like being here in San Antonio, like around 2010, and like before I was even DJing, and you know, going to these spots, and these were like clubs.
Exactly.
Like they had actual like the promoters for the clubs. It's like niggas had to pay to get in, like all that shit, dress code, and all. And then now it's just like bars, and they have these places that are like upscale, or supposed to be upscale, you know, I guess clubs or venues or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's just like there's no dress code, there's no shit like that, and it's just like
So my big thing was always like, VIP means something in a club because it separates you from the sea of people who are dancing and enjoying themselves. You got a private area for that.
Yeah.
And a lot of these places now that are popping, they're not clubs, but they sell VIP.
yeah, they're doing like bottle service,
And it's like, yeah, it's
they got the girls come out with the fucking sparklers
yeah.
and shit.
So you're
It's like-
paying for like half the club experience, but you're really not getting like the privacy.
honestly though, like sometimes whenever I'm DJing at some of these spots, I feel like I'm DJing at like a Chili's with like a bot like Chili's had bottle service.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you have place to get food and like drinks or whatever. You get your margarita or whatever.
Well, shit.
But you can order a bottle.
So there is the legendary story of Club Fridays in Philadelphia. Have you ever heard this story?
I haven't.
So back when the GOAT himself, Allen Iverson, was playing for the Philadelphia 76ers in his heyday of being the best MVP and all that shit, word was he would shut down the TGI Fridays and like it would be, they'd bring in a DJ,
Nigga.
and it would become
Get the
it
fuck
would be like,
outta
they
here.
said it was like the most lit spot you can go to.
Bro, I'm going to fucking TGI
And
Fridays.
we're talking like art rappers would come through because I think Jadakiss verified it because they had like I forgot what show he was on and they asked him and he was like, yeah, back when you were doing like the commercials with AI, you slid through to like Club Fridays and he was like, yo, that was fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, you like told the story and whatnot, so it's really true. And it's I'll tell you off pod because I've actually looked up what Club Fridays was, and it's like it's still in business. TGI Fridays is, and I know what road it is in Philadelphia. But Club Fridays is goated in the city of Philadelphia, and that was AI's jam.
That's crazy. See, and it sucks because like here in the city, like I wish we had more spots like that. And I mean, we do have like club type places. So we got like Garden, we got Hotel Discotheque, like 1902. I'm not too sure, any other spots that are like really like clubs. But I feel like this generation's missing out on just experiences like that.
Yeah.
And so it'd be cool to have something similar to that in the city where people that want that kind of experience can go to and like have a good time versus like going to just your regular, because all it is a bunch of dive bars and like
Essentially it's dive bars, bigger dive bars, and the biggest dive bars with good music, you know what I'm saying?
They got good DJs like, and but it's not very like but then people, that's my thing, it's just like it's hard to for me personally, I don't know how any other DJs feel, but sometimes it's hard for me to play these joints and then people are like, yo, can you play this? And I'm just like, yeah, I can play it, but it don't hit the same.
Yeah.
It really doesn't hit the same. The only place I would be willing to play shit like that was Mercaba when I worked there.
Yeah.
And just because they had the sound system to accommodate it.
But even still, Mercaba is just like an elevated bar with a club atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if we're talking like dance floor and all that shit, like it has it, but it's not like a club dance floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then that too is just like, but it's dope. My Saturday nights there,
Yeah.
them motherfuckers would be popping.
They were lit, nigga. I was there. I was there most of the time, bro.
They would be popping. I had motherfuckers buying bottles at like 1:30.
It was lit, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's the thing of like why other people, when they come to our city and like they feel disappointed or whatnot or let down. Maybe it's because we don't have like club options. But I can tell you this: when I turned 18, way back in the year, in the year of our Lord 2006, there were options.
Yeah,
a lot of options for clubs where only 18-year-olds can get in. Where like the age started 18 to get in. Yeah. And it's like I feel like they don't have that no more.
They do. They got Burn House and like Desire and shit like that. And that's where Area 31 used to be. And what was the other one? Ivy Rooftop.
Okay, so yeah, those would be clubs.
So they have those, but the scene is just so fucking different.
It is. Like I remember when I was 18, there were a bunch of options. It was like we can go downtown and hit these places, over here by UTSA or all these places and so forth. And now it just feels like, oh, well, we got to go to Burn House. Or,
dog, you remember Concepts?
Hell yeah. In the hood.
Yeah, that shit.
Pack
you
a vest.
You gonna talk about hood.
Pack a fucking vest. Didn't Drew love that place?
I think so.
I don't want to put nobody out. I swear Drew used to always go there. Back when he was getting Jordans from the Jordan Man.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to put people on blast. I had a pair too from
the Jordan Man.
Jordan Man.
But yeah, man, so I don't know, just like that time. So like even going out now, I'm just like everything's like dive bars and like real chill shit, which is cool, but when you want me to play like fucking Tiesto while you're eating a fucking slider, like
it seems weird. Like you need like the fucking.
It just doesn't feel like the right place.
The foam from the ceilings and shit like that, which is why, like I said, I feel like it's only here because when I used to be a bar back and a doorman in Austin, I was working in the Domain. Yeah. And the place I was at was a club. Yeah. And like they played all the fucking Calvin Harris, Tiesto, things like that. And it's like they hit different when you're there because it has like the light show, the smoke coming out of the ceiling and shit, and people are like popping Molly and
it's an
and
experience.
Tripping. Yeah.
And see, it's funny because a lot of people is like, oh, like people either really fuck with that music or they don't fuck with it at all. Yeah. And I'm just like, if I'm in the setting and it feels right, then I fuck with it. I don't care what it is. And that's what I kind of hate about just doing stuff here is because like a lot of people, it's like the mood's right, the vibe's right, and the music's right, but nobody like reacts to it. Yeah. And I think that's one of the hardest parts about being a DJ is because like there's certain spots that I play, and mind you, like my crowds like of people are good, but they don't really tell me anything until like I get done doing my set. Yeah. Like I'll be DJing my ass off for fucking 4 hours. I'm like trying to hit this, trying to hit that, like see what they react to. They like this, dropping some new shit, like whatever, like play some, EDM, blah, blah, blah. And I'd get like minimal response.
You'll get a couple girls breaking off their man.
Yeah.
Some girls dancing in a circle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you'll never really get like a full, like, because I know what you're talking about. And I still remember it vividly in my mind. I'm on the second floor looking down. And when the beat drops, like seeing like the fucking crowd look like a fucking like a heartbeat of like people just going fucking crazy down there. And it's like I remember when I got to work the VIP section that was on the floor, and it was like a whole different environment from the second floor that I was looking down on, like, which was a lot chiller.
Like that's the kind of party that I'm trying to be in.
You know what I'm saying? Like
if I'm going like club. Yeah, like that's the kind of shit I'm trying to be in. I'm trying to be where like everybody's dancing, everybody's having fun, like everybody's drinking, and you bonding.
Well, they're not really there for the drinks because in those places it's hard as shit to get a drink. Yeah, that bar is always crowded, and the bartenders are they're fucking just in a fucking state of panic and bliss. And they're like seeing the Matrix because like they just know to keep making drinks, and somehow they can hear your order over this loud pumping fucking boom, 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 boom. Let's get down to bed. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
It's like if I'm in the right spot, like I fuck with it. I fuck with all this shit, and that's what I really like about like spots on 6th Street or like Rainy. And it's like you can play that vibe. This is Austin,
but I still don't even call those clubs.
Yeah, I mean it's not, but some have sound systems suited, for that shit. So like, you get that same kind of experience. Versus like here, it's like there's not really a spot that's like that.
Compared to Rock Rose and 77 Degrees up in the Domain, which is North Austin, like I just don't call Rainy clubs. Like they're dope. Don't get me wrong, they're fucking dope, but they're not clubs.
Yeah, not club.
It's not a club to me.
So, but being a DJ and being on that side, it's like playing music and trying to get people to respond to it like that. Like I feel like it's a little bit more difficult here.
If you can get me to get out of my comfort zone and just actually start vibing to your shit, which happens a lot when I'm around you or whatnot. But it's just like. That's how I know the scene it's a dope scene. Yeah. Like when I was up in Austin last year for my birthday, and like one of the nights where it was just me and my girl, we were on Rainy, and like same thing. We stumbled into a place that was just bumping some nice hits, and like we walked in at the time where they're playing the shit that reminds me of my youth. You know what I'm saying? And it was just all the Texas shit, but it was a vibe because like I was just with my girl, just getting it. You know what I'm saying? Just like not thinking about shit, no cares in the world, and it was just like, yo, this is a fucking. I'm enjoying myself. I got my drink. I got my girl. We're just chilling. Like, we're chilling, but we vibing and we dancing together.
Drink, get my two-step.
Exactly. I had my two-step. I had my little two-step going. I was just like, yo, yeah.
Yeah, so. I mean, San Antonio, it's definitely on the come up as far as, like, you know, nightlife. So that's cool. And, I mean, you do. This is no, like, shot at anybody, you know, any venue here. It's just, like, there's a lot of dope places to go. But it's just, like, you don't get that same feeling. And it's not the spot really, it's just the people, because there's some nights where it's just like it's rowdy, it's good, but more often than not it's just like a regular like bar night. You know what I mean? So but you know, shout out to all the places that are, you know, creating experiences and you know, moments for people that are out there jamming out, having fun. So
hell yeah. Tone baby.
But yeah, no, I would say like as far as like being a DJ, that's probably like the hardest thing. You know, just being here in the city is just like it's kind of hard to gauge what people are feeling sometimes, and then it's just like you try. Like I've had gigs where like I do whatever I can to fucking bait them, whether it's playing like, you know, some old like classic sing along shit to like dropping a TikTok joint, or you know, just dropping something that they'll respond to or react to, and it's just like you get minimal response. But it's funny because like I can do a whole set like that and get no reaction from the crowd, but then as soon as I get done, it's just like people asking for my contact and like shit like that, like, oh my god, like that was dope, and I'm just like, yo, I need you to show it with your body, like move baby, body. Yeah. So you know, it's cool because I gain new people that like jump on, you know, my socials and like, yo, like I seen this DJ at this night, and like they shout me out and like they give me props and all that. But then it's just like I look out in the crowd and I don't see anybody moving, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? It is just like it's hard because like I don't know if we talked about this before on here, but it's just like when you're a DJ, a lot of the shit that you do, it's kind of like a stand-up comedian. It's like you're going through this routine and you're trying to find things that fit, and you're looking for shit that gets the most reactions. And you know, sometimes it falls short, and other times it's like you can do that same thing and like everybody loves it. And so, yeah, you know, the constant struggles of being I guess entertainment. So,
hey, you'll hit that formula eventually. And when you do, and you get it together, and everybody is moving.
But it's weird. Like TikTok is kind of like bringing back a lot of like old shit. Because I had somebody come and request some song, and they were like, "Oh, do you have this song?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that song's dope." It's like, "Yeah, that the TikTok song is so dope." But
that's
I'm like,
what I hate the most.
I'm like, "What? That's not a TikTok song. That's a classic like fucking." Like promiscuous.
I get it. Like it's cool that they're shedding light on music or whatnot. What pod was I listening to? I think it might have been Drink Champs when Fat Joe was on, and they were like talking to him, and he was just like, they were like going through his catalog or whatnot, and he was like, I mean, side note, can you imagine how much more like poppin' we'd be because if we had like the advent of social media back then. Yeah. And he was like, you know how many songs I had that probably would have went like viral on TikTok back then that just didn't get the love. Like you imagine like Lean Back dropping when TikTok is
TikTok, yeah.
Like, yeah, and it's like it starts to make you think, because whenever we compare eras of like artists and shit, and like, oh, these ones are better because like, oh, they got all these streams and shit, but it's just like, all right, but if you're gonna look at it that way, you've got to apply that same metric to the artists that came before them, because we always forget like they didn't have social media when they were selling 100 million albums, like physical copies.
It just really relied on like fucking music videos,
like
really
physical. Because I think it like came up when niggas wanted to, when stupid young motherfuckers wanted to bring up the whole Michael Jackson versus Drake argument, which is fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
That's a real argument?
That was an argument a few months ago. Like, people really were like trying to have a debate about, oh man, Drake's better catalog. He's got over this many streams. It's like, nigga, y'all don't understand. This nigga Michael Jackson sold 300 million physical albums. That means I bought more than one of this motherfucker's albums. Like, you gotta understand that. And then you want to do like, you want to add like the social media metric to it. It's not fair. It isn't. It's not. You shouldn't be having these conversations.
And that's crazy to think that people, you know, think so highly of like fucking streams, but they have fucking streaming farms.
Yes.
Where artists, like, if, you know, artists ain't doing so hot, they'll pay these niggas to run like their plays up. And essentially, then they pay for it. They pay for plays.
You can pay for play. I mean, shit, we get it all the time with the podcast. You know how many fucking like motherfuckers reach out? Anytime you post something on Facebook, someone's gonna message you on the inbox and be like, "Hey, I can boost your streams. I can boost this and blah blah blah." And it's just like, I could pay you, but I don't want it because it's not real.
Yeah, it's not real. Like,
and that's bullshit.
I'm cool with the views that we get because I know it's like people that are genuinely like watching this shit.
Yeah,
are like, you know. But it's just like people are so caught up on like streams and likes and all that shit for like clout, and I'm just like, that shit is stupid.
It's endorphins.
Like, that shit don't mean nothing at the end of the day, because once that post gets deleted, them likes and comments and shit and all that, the views, they're not there.
Go away.
But, you know, for somebody to sell like physical copies of albums, even if you don't listen to it, it's still there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you still have like the physical fucking copy.
You made me leave my house, go to a store
and pick it up
and pick that shit up.
Sam Goody.
Like, yeah, Best Buy when they used to have good CDs. Mm-hmm. I was thinking of this the other day. You remember when Walmart used to have the edited versions of albums?
Yep.
Yep. And you could tell, like, oh man, your mom went to Walmart, nigga. Take that 50 Cent out. Take that Get Rich or Die Trying out. We don't want to hear that shit.
It's funny because just recently, there was a thing that popped up. So I've been buying like vinyls. I've always bought vinyls, right? But I'm a huge Childish Gambino fan, Donald Glover, right? So they had this thing where it was like his albums were pressed on different color vinyl. And I told you, I was like, yo, these joints, like, they just dropped, and I bought them. I didn't think nothing of it. I just like put them in the cart, bought them. And you were like, he's like, where'd you get those? I was like, Walmart. And he like, oh, they probably edited, huh? And I was like, fuck.
You ain't thought about that in years.
Yo, I did not think about that shit. And so I'm like scouring it. I have them. I haven't listened to them yet. But I was like, fuck, man, they're probably all edited.
I figure nowadays with like the music selection, like physical music selection being so slim, there's no need to edit the shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, back in the day when there was a lot of options, like that was the thing of like, oh, Walmart only sells edited music. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
I think around that time too, that's when Chameleon tapped in on the shit, and he said he wasn't like cursing on any of his records anymore. Mm-hmm. That's when he dropped Ultimate Victory. Yeah. So
it was an ultimate waste of time. I love Chameleon too. I was so disappointed.
Was there one good song on there?
No.
There had to have been at least one.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Military Man. Damn. Man, see, now I'm about to go back and listen to all the old Chameleon shit.
That's what I'm saying. That was back. That was a time where I felt, you know, it was like, man, I'm just saying, it was a great time to like love hip hop. And I don't mean to go off on an old man rant. It was a great time to love hip hop. And then it's like, as soon as you like come into your own of like what you like and shit, seeing this movement of niggas from your home state just like blow up.
Yeah.
Of like, I remember like us just being like, you know you're from Texas when if someone mentions Mike Jones and we're just like,
who?
Yeah, one that, but it's like, nigga, we heard who is Mike Jones was a mixtape, and he just re-released it as an album to the rest of the world, and y'all motherfuckers. So it's just like y'all got Still Tipping like a year after it had been popping.
Y'all got that shit late.
Like y'all got it late. Man. You know what I'm saying? It's just shit like that of like me being in like that perfect time. Like I think I'm going into my senior year and like Texas just blows up. Paul Wall, Chameleon,
yeah, Mike
Jones, Slim Thug, Bun B and them got like they got the respect they deserved at the time.
Yeah,
finally, after being in the game for so long. But it was just like seeing all that shit culminate, and then it's just like, man, they're all from Texas.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I think around that time it was just like it was a lot of like Texas artists.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had, of course, like Atlanta and like all them dudes with like the snap music and shit. So, man, music was so fucking. It was fun.
So much. There was so much variety then.
It was fun. It was really fun. And
I miss the styles, everyone's own sounds. No one just sounded like they were just going with the trend of what was around or whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, like I fuck with the new shit. I really do. But it's just like you don't get that same feeling.
You don't.
It's just like, all right, what's streaming? What can I fuck with? And what's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like back then, it's like an album comes out and it's like, yo, did you get the? And we talk about it at school like the whole next day. It's not like what song popped up on TikTok or like what song did this. It's like we were physically like looking at these albums.
I remember I brought Get Rich or Die Trying to school, and we set up shop in the back of Senora Barbosa's class with a CD player.
Yeah.
Because you had to have one of them back then. And we were just track for track, just listening to that shit. And I was like passing around the case.
What up,
you're like, yeah.
What up, gangsta?
That shit came on. It was just like, what?
We
don't play it.
Like, yeah.
We don't play it.
Like I got it on my chest. No, that's a semi-yodel. All right, but for real though, like then that too is just like you get the physical album, and we've mentioned this before. It's like the liner notes on the inside. Like you get to. For me, that was my thing.
Yeah,
it was like I would always go like read the liner notes. I'd look at the album artwork. I would see who produced what. I would see what samples were used in what. Like, and then now it's just like everything's compiled in this fucking digital thing. It's, like,
it's harder to get to sometimes.
Yeah,
like
you gotta like Google and do all that shit versus like.
We'll talk about it because Music Corner coming up. We're going to be discussing I Know Nigo. But like on that, especially on Spotify, you got to click on the track. And sometimes, and most of the time, it just plays the track automatically.
Yeah.
Then you got to click on the 3 dots in the corner and then scroll down, get song details. And then you can see all the fucking liner notes and shit. And it's like all that used to be so much simpler when it just came with that fucking cover book.
Open up the book. And then like that too, it's like the artwork was so cool to have because everybody's was different. Like everybody like marketed different, or like there would be like something cool. Like you would get stickers or whatever the fuck they would put in it. Like that was like the dopest shit.
The best was when it just unfolded into a dope ass
like a poster.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Even that too, like with video games. It's like
poster.
the inside. Like when you open the video game, it should open up into a poster. Like especially with Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah.
I still got some of those.
I remember times was changing when I bought like my first game. And I remember getting like the game in the case, and I was like thinking like, man, why does this case feel so light? You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get it, and then I opened it up finally, and I realized they stopped putting the game instructions.
Yeah, the inserts.
Now it just came with a card that said, "Go to this website to learn how to play," and I was like, what?
Yeah. Or when they started putting tutorials in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so fucking annoying.
But moving from that, we're gonna jump into Music Corner. We're gonna discuss I Know Nigo.
Yes.
And speaking of Texas artists,
woo,
I want to say the opening song to that album was that freestyle with Tyler the Creator and A$AP Rocky.
When I hit the club, all the girls show me love.
Yep.
Buying out the bar, got drinks by the buck. That shit.
But yeah, so and I mean,
okay.
Southern art is Texas artists,
and that's how they got me. And Chaku, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Ain't a skip on this motherfucker.
Nope.
If we ain't even got a play rider skip, I ain't skipped one track on this fucking album. It's fucking fire. Oh my goodness.
I want to say my favorite song on there is probably that one.
Which one?
The freestyle.
The freestyle?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna expect this.
Oh fuck.
You probably think Mike probably gonna say Punch Bowl. No, I like Paper Plate.
Oh yeah,
that is my shit.
What's the one joint with Pharrell and fuck, who is it? But there's like the beats like just doom 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 doom, like
Pharrell and it's not the Pharrell and Ferg, right?
Nah,
that's Paper Plate.
Yeah, Paper Plates. That's Paper
Plate. Functional Addict?
Yes, Functional
With Gunna
Addict.
and Nigo? Yeah,
yes,
love
Gunna.
Functional Addict too.
That's my shit.
Functional Addict is, hold on, let's just go through this. Lost and Found freestyle from 2019.
That's my top.
The way Tyler comes on that bitch is fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
That nigga, so much growth in his lyrics, man. Man, he's just barring us up. And then you get the aria right next with ASAP Rocky, which is still dope. And then it feeds into Punch Bowl, which is also have to tell you, I've started my Windows Down playlist.
And that's on there.
I'm writing shit down, and Punch Bowl made the playlist.
I think Lost and Found freestyle in Punch Bowl probably, and Functional Addict.
Functional Addict. I'm waiting on that. Want It Bad with Kid Cudi. Love it.
Want it bad.
Love it. Sounds like some classic cut. It sounds like some Indica Cudi. Honestly, sounds like something I can hear on there. More Tonight. With Teriyaki Boys. I haven't heard of Teriyaki Boys since the Tokyo song from Tokyo Drift. That's crazy. Still fucking fire.
I seen Timberland talking about that. He had repost. He's like, yo, this one right here.
I fuck with it.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck they saying on some of it, but
I was thinking of that too. Like I heard someone say like when Daddy Yankee retired, they're like Gasolina, that's crazy, man. I don't know a word of that fucking song, but I sing it at the top of my lungs. That's how I feel with that.
Yeah.
More than that, I was like, I don't know what the fuck they saying, but I'm singing it at the top of my lungs, man. Paper Plates, baby. That's that shit, man. Oh, that beat is so sick. That shit makes me want to run through a fucking brick wall, dog. I ain't even lying. that shit get me hyped, dog. Heavy with Lil Uzi Vert, still dope.
Yeah.
I skipped a couple. Hear Me Clearly by Pusha T. Oh my good. Y'all niggas feel me. Just say y'all fear me. Fuck all the fairy tales. Oh my goodness. This Pusha.
When that nigga said, left my elbow in the pot, I love Vince
It's
Carter.
caught
I was
on.
like,
Oh
oh
my God.
shit. Oh my God.
Yo, I'm gonna cry when Pusha retires if he ever does, man.
he
Let that
better
nigga
not.
rap till he's 60. He ain't never falling off.
Rap till he 80.
Oh my God, Pusha with the bars. Remember with Pop Smoke. That's crazy. I even like the Pop Smoke song, and I don't fuck with Pop Smoke. That's crazy to me.
I fuck with a couple of Pop Smoke joints, but that one was dope.
Heavy, nice with Lil Uzi Vert, and then it's got the dopest fucking going end of the album song. Come On, Let's Go, Tyler the Creator, which is so fucking dope because it hits so close to home. My girl fucking takes forever. Oh my God.
You want this silly? He performed that shit live for the first time because he's on tour right
recently,
now.
yeah.
And man, Tyler is definitely one of those artists that, like him.
Georgia Pete's on the side like it's ATL, ho. Yo,
Tyler's so dope.
Tyler. Hey, I've been preaching it. Call Me If You Get Lost was album of the year last year. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. And this motherfucker is not slowing down. He is still barring shit up. He still brings like this eclectic energy to anything he jumps on.
My bad. I mean,
no, I'm just saying it's to the point where like I want to hear, like I'm hyped when he's a feature now. Like I would be if it was like Wayne in his prime or Jay in his prime. Like I'm like, oh fuck, man.
Yeah, Tyler's on that shit.
Yeah, it's like, yo,
let me check that out. But even that shit too, it's like most of the shit that I hear him on, like it gets me hyped.
Mm-hmm.
It gets me so fucking hyped. So besides that, there was a album that came out just recently, Lotto.
Oh yeah,
and I had no idea, but Childish Gambino is a feature on that.
Excuse me?
Yes, him and Wayne.
What?
It's Lotto, Childish Gambino, and Lil Wayne.
Okay.
That is fucking, because they ain't even on a song like that. And then my thing too was I was like, all right, like Gambino's probably gonna get second verse, like it's just gonna be lame. No, he has the third verse.
What?
I thought Wayne was gonna come in that bitch like,
get a big.
Yeah, but nah, they did, like as soon as I heard that lighter flick on the second verse, I was like, oh yes.
Excuse me?
Gambino got the dope spot. He's closing this bitch out.
Shit, I gotta hear this now.
But it's not a bad song, but I feel like with him doing that feature, there's more in store.
Okay.
So it's got me fucking super excited.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's gonna be like a Donald Glover presents or if it's gonna be like a Childish Gambino album, but I'm so excited.
Oh man.
Whatever comes from Donald, my friend Donald.
This is gonna be dope.
Cause you got Atlanta coming out, like you got
sidebar. I was gonna mention that.
Oh, Atlanta here already.
There's an episode on Atlanta. Is it season 1? No, season 2, the Juneteenth episode, where he's talking to the white guy who's married to the black woman, and he's like very Afrocentric.
Yeah.
If you look in the background in the office that they're in, the vinyl to Awaken My Love is sitting on his desk. Yeah, my girl called that out. She's like, "Oh, that's funny. His album's right there." And I was just like, I never noticed that.
I noticed that from the first time I seen it. I was like, and that was before the album even came out. And I had went to the Pharrell show, and so I had seen like the artwork and shit. And I was like, and then when I seen that in the background, I was like, oh fuck! Like,
I never noticed
release
that.
a vinyl, and then I have it. You know what? Let me grab that motherfucker real quick.
I think it's also funny. Did you ever check him out on The Shop?
I did.
You didn't see that? So that was pretty dope because he talked about that, and he said like the reason why he made Awaken My Love is because they told him he couldn't make hits without what he said? I think he said without features or something, and he was like, I did that without even like a video and shit, and he's like, you can't make like a gold album without features or something. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah, that song fucking Raybone took off. That was my shit too. Whenever he did it at
Yeah.
the Pharrell's event. All right, can you hear me on here? My bad. I had to show off for a second.
It's all good. It's all good. But nah, Redbone just had the culmination of like dropping, and it was picking up. It was gaining like its cult status, and then when they put it at the beginning of Get Out, that shit just shot to the fucking moon.
Yeah.
And like shit just went off from there. But nah, definitely check out I Know Nigo. I'm gonna definitely hit up that Lotto song. I don't know if I'll fuck with the whole album.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you this, to be honest. Like, the whole album is definitely for, like, chicks. Yeah. So, the only reason I checked it out was because that joint on there. But other than that, I mean, it's probably a good album for, like, women. But, personally, I can't fuck with it.
Yeah.
But that song's dope. That song has a really chill... you'll hear it. You'll hear it.
Yeah. I'll fuck with it.
But, yeah. So... I think that pretty much sums up this episode.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. But yeah, you can check us out on Instagram at the Saucy Boys Pod. Our ads are on there, and hit up the YouTube, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We got to do better with that, but
yeah, we do.
We trying to promote the YouTube a little bit more. So if you subscribed on there, maybe when we hit 100 subscribers, we'll do something special. Whoever the 100th subscriber is, we can maybe send them something special.
Make sure you like, comment, or message when you're the 100th or something like that.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we'll also look. But yeah, definitely help us out, motherfuckers. Tell your friends, and all that shit, and we'll keep going from there. But
so with that being said, we'll see y'all next time.
Latro.
Peace.